When I checked my email yesterday morning, I realized I had early access to the next generation racing simulator, Rennsport. Of course, excited at the opportunity to play the potentially greatest racing game of the generation, I downloaded it and began playing ASAP. As soon as I loaded up the game, I immediately knew it had great potential. The graphics, well-designed menus, thoughtful car interiors, and a very good audio for an extremely early access game were all immediate green flags that the developers were dedicated to the game. As soon as I performed my first corner in an Audi GT3 car around Road Atlanta, it was obvious the game was designed with realism as a top priority. The physics in this game are so far interesting, to say the least. I've heard many people compare it to Automobilista 2 and R-Factor 2, and although I see the correlation due to all of them being very oversteery simulators, I would argue that you cannot really compare this game to anything. The handling in this game is extremely unique, in a good way. Braking and trail braking feels amazing, although I feel like the effects of trail braking could be a bit stronger. Mid-corner feels perfect. The way the car dances at the limit in the corner is so satisfying. It's easy to tell when you've gone slightly over the limit, and there is something about correcting the car that just feels right. It's something that is hard to describe, and is really something you'd have to try for yourself to understand. The exit of the corner is where I feel the game lacks a bit in its current state. Generally, as you straighten out the steering on the exit of the corner, slip angle and slides of the car will calm down, allowing a driver to get the most out of the power if done correctly. However, in Rennsport, I feel that the rotation of the car continues far too much even when you straighten out the steering, making getting on the throttle overly challenging, and oversteer on exit is hard to avoid. This might be fixable with some differential settings, but as the setups are locked for now, we can't be sure. Even if it is not, it certainly feels like a fixable issue though. Generally, the physics do feel great for an early access game. It has its flaws, but they are certainly fixable, especially considering the game is in early access. To be completely honest, I would be satisfied with the way the car handles in its current state, and it will only get better from here. The roadmap of the game seems pretty unclear right now. It says that in Q3 the date will be announced, which I assume means the release date. We can also expect a few new tracks, cars, and features in the near future for early access players. From what we know, the simulator will put an emphasis on competitive online racing, hopefully rivaling iRacing. The developers have said that some base content will be free, and any additional content will be through a subscription-based model. If the subscription is reasonably priced, I am certainly not against it. However, if it's anywhere near iRacing's model, I'm not sure I'd be willing to pay. Another thing we can expect is a plethora of community-made content. The developers have highlighted their interest in making third-party content easy to use and create. Also, for anybody worried about the whole NFT thing where people can buy and trade in-game items, I wouldn't worry about it. At the start of the game, I was able to pick a car that I could quote-unquote own. It doesn't really do much, and I do not own any of the other cars in the game, yet I can still drive them all. This means, I think, that the in-game items trading stuff can be completely avoided while playing the game if you wish. Overall, I am very excited to see where Rennsport goes. It certainly has promising potential, and if it goes anything like the developers say it will, we could have a genre-defining simulator on our hands in the near future. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you would like and/or subscribe, and if you would like to support the channel further, check out the links in the description. I'll see you guys next time on the track.